And yo, we are live. The Sports Back Bros podcast is coming back at you on a Thursday right before the Super Bowl. But of course, the Super Bowl is all we should be talking about, but so much has happened. We are indeed a sports show nonetheless. That means we kind of go from wall to wall with sports, at least the sports we think are very, very important. I know hockey fans are pissed off at us. Some baseball fans maybe as well. But basketball is being talked about. The trade deadline happened today, ended today. And of course, we will be talking about the Super Bowl 59, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. But until then, what's going on?
What's good, Trav?
What's going on, man?
Super Bowl, as everyone knows, is coming up in a few days. It's on the horizon. But I got to start this show off, get a couple things off my chest, give the fingers to a couple of fools. The first one, I'm sure a lot of people agree with me. Cam Newton. This idiot went on record and said, quote, he cares more about impact than championships, end quote. I don't know if that's because he never won a championship.
That's it.
That makes no sense because, as it was once famously said, you play to win the game.
Yes.
So he's saying he's fine. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he would be fine. I had a Hall of Fame career. Screw them championships. And when you make that kind of comment, that's exactly what you're saying. However, in the same segment on First Take today, they started talking about the Super Bowl, and they said if Patrick Mahomes wins 3 in a row, is he the GOAT? Does he pass Tom Brady? And this dumbass said, no, he needs 7 if he wants to pass Tom Brady. So what is it? Is it impact or is it championships? Come on, man, make up your mind. Or are you just talking off the top of your head or out your ass for that matter?
This is Cam Newton. So what are you expecting, or when are you expecting him to finally make sense? He just says things. He sounds like a disgruntled old man who didn't win a championship. Guess what? He didn't win the championship. And when he had his chance to win a championship, he ran from the opportunity to be heroic in the game. People remember that more than they remember anything else he's done in the NFL. People who say that kind of thing are likely people who have not won championships, people who don't have that championship mindset. You say these things because, well, you can't really relate. That's why he's saying what he's saying. A lot of things he's done and said over the past several years had me scratching my head several times. And now, he's going even to the point now when he's talking about how he can't take care of his kids the way he wants to. 8 kids from all these different women. What is he up to now? I mean, what is he even
I didn't know that
about
him. Is he trying to be Sean Kemp?
I don't know, man. Sean Kemp, Travis Henry, all of those who put out the fathers of our country. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with him. But Cam Newton, I don't know if he's trying to be entertaining, trying to be compelling, but the nonsense he says sounds manufactured, and it sounds like it's coming from another place. He's upset that he had not won the big one, and he wants to sound like he's disgruntled against others because of it.
He kind of sounds like Skip Bayless, or he went to the Skip Bayless School of TV media, just saying things that are so outlandish, so outrageous, so utterly ridiculous.
Getting clicks.
Right. And I stopped watching First Take. I wasn't watching the show when I saw this. I came across a YouTube video. I saw the thumbnail said impact over championships. I said, what? Oh, I got to watch this. And I don't know. Somebody please make it make sense, because I don't understand how in the one sense impact's more important than championships. But if Mahomes wants to be the GOAT, he needs 7 championships to pass Brady. Come on, that makes no sense.
And he's been more impactful for Kansas City. He's been more impactful for Kansas City than any player on that team. Tom Brady is a great quarterback, and in my opinion, and I guess the opinion of many, he's the greatest quarterback ever. I had John Elway my guy, of course, but he is unequivocally the number one guy. Now Mahomes has that opportunity. He doesn't have to win the same amount of championships to do that, because throughout Tom's career, you could see during the regular season, he never did a whole lot of extraordinary things. He ended up getting to the championship game and won when it mattered most. Patrick Mahomes had done so many of the extraordinary things during the season, and then he had his chance to get into the Super Bowl and did even more. So that's the difference between those two. He's been great all along. Tom Brady has been great in another way It just hasn't been extraordinary all the time.
I don't believe anybody watching Tom Brady his first 6, 7 years of his career was thinking that could be the GOAT.
Wow, he was winning championships. Yeah.
It wasn't until like year 15, 16. This guy's still going. This guy, and even turned me around because I was like, wow, well, longevity has to come from something, I guess, in football because, he stayed healthy and he's still productive. His arm didn't weaken as opposed to like Peyton Manning, his last year in Denver.
He was horrible. He was terrible.
Yeah, his arm strength just wasn't there. But I don't know. That's just a ridiculous statement. I have to get that off my chest. And my favorite basketball player currently is Steph Curry. And I got to give the fingers to Mike Dunleavy. He's ruining that franchise. You have a generational talent, an all-time great. And when he took over, I believe it was after they beat the Celtics in the finals. Since then, he has not gotten one big man that is worth talking about. And all he does is bring in 2s and 3s and swing men and guys who he thinks can shoot. Buddy Hield and now Jimmy Butler. Who's going to guard Jokic? Who's going to guard AD?
Still.
The Lakers traded for Mark Williams. Who's going to guard Mark Williams? They got Twin Towers in Minnesota. Nazir and Gobert. Even though Gobert, you don't have to worry about him offensively. You still got to go deal with his height. They don't have Trace Jackson Davis. He's a decent player, but he's only like 6'9". I believe the league went to small ball, but when the Warriors weren't paying attention or Mike Dunleavy wasn't paying attention, other teams started going big again, and he has not gone big. Supposedly they're trying to trade. Well, it's too late. The trade deadline's gone. They're trying to get Vucevic, but Vucevic, decent player offensively, but a turnstile on defense.
Turnstile for real.
He would get cooked in the West, man. He gets cooked in the East. So yeah, Mike Dunleavy, you get the fingers. Last one, Dennis Schrader, talking about after Luka got traded, it's like modern day slavery.
Oh, here we go.
He even acknowledged, yeah, we get paid a lot. Well, then you should have stopped right there, dumbass. You get paid. You're not a slave.
And not even an indentured servant.
You have free agency, but GMs have the right to trade you as well. You can't complain. Or they just deal with us like we're pieces of meat. Or come on, man.
You knew that heading in. Stop the nonsense. Just stop it. I remember Warren Sapp was saying a lot of the same nonsense years ago, and I believe he was making about $12 million and talking nonsense about slavery. Is that a trigger word, or is that just a thing to say right now because we're in Black History Month? Seriously, every time you look around, these people are saying the same nonsense while they're making more money than they deserve to make, but there's a market for it. That's why they're making it. They have the talent to make people watch what they're doing and people putting money into what they're doing. That's why they're getting the money. Outside of basketball, what the hell are you going to be doing? Come on now. The numbers speak for themselves. There isn't much going on outside of basketball for many of these guys or even athletes, period.
Now, I would be on his side if he was talking about going to the combine or, where you have to run and jump and do all these drills. I could see his point from that point of view, from that aspect. But he's been in the league like 10 years. I don't know how much money he's made throughout his career, but I'm sure it's more than 10 million. How can you compare yourself or any other NBA player to slaves?
These models that run the walk or whatever the hell they call it, they're kind of looked at as slaves, I guess, in that regard. The runway models, they go up and down. It's like a meat factory. I know I've heard the analogy a few times about how the women are treated like meat. They're treated like inhuman because of the way they're asked to change clothes so often, and they're going back out there to the googly eyes of just men who pretty much are interested in seeing what they're doing. Come on, the argument gets old and it loses validity over the years or over time period when you just keep saying it and you're expecting a certain effect from it. Now, as far as going back to the combine, even then, these teams want to make sure they have what they think they're going to get. That's what I'm thinking. As far as the combine goes, they line these guys up, put numbers on them like cattle, and they have them run these drills. They have them now taking these tests, and to make sure that investment, that huge investment they're making in these players, even if they take them in the 6th, 7th round, it's still a more than average investment than somebody on the street. They want to make sure they're going to do the right thing by picking this player. So I don't even look at that as a possible slavery scenario.
Well, I think I misspoke when I said I'd be on his side. I could better understand it if that's where he was coming from, because
the meat market deal.
Like but it's an opportunity for somebody to raise their draft status.
Absolutely, and get even more money.
If you didn't have a good senior season, or you're going early because you want to help your family, and maybe your tape's not all that good, you go there and you show them you're quicker than they thought. You're a better athlete than they thought. Whatever. You can help your draft status. But I can also understand if you're projected to go top 5 and you're like, man, I ain't doing all that. Look at my tape.
Look at Jamarcus Russell. He did exactly that. He was expected to go number 1 overall, and he did absolutely nothing. I think he threw the ball a little bit, but after that, he didn't do anything. He did take the Wonderlic. By the way, he had a pretty good Wonderlic score. People look at him and think about the dumb decisions he's made and how he played and how he didn't really get the system, and they think he's just a stupid guy. He had a pretty solid Wonderlic score for quarterbacks in particular, and so I don't know how everything fell apart. It wasn't like he was some idiot. He just had a whole bunch of things inside of him, aside from whatever it is mentally that just destroyed him, just destroyed his career, and he's still doing dumb things now. I believe he stole school from his high school alma mater most recently over last year sometime. Stole money? Come on, man. I mean, that's the lowest you could possibly get. Now, I see someone up here, Scott Gale, in the back. He talked about Cam Newton. Cam Newton, when he was at UF, he stole laptops. That's why he ended up at Auburn. Yeah, he was a thief. He came in that same class with Tim Tebow, I believe. And he still thinks I could have beaten out Tim Tebow. You know what? Going by the way things played out, he probably would have had a chance to beat out Tim Tebow because he got his Heisman at Auburn. Tim got his Heisman in Florida. So yeah, you had some top flight talent at that school at the time, but Tim ended up getting the job.
One of them might have been turned into a tight end if they both stayed.
Going by the way they both played, Tim Tebow, man, now that's pretty interesting talking about it, because Tim Tebow played for Florida and the way Cam Newton played for Auburn, both extremely huge difference makers. Florida was more overall talent though. But Cam Newton was something special. But Tim Tebow, even more special in my opinion, with the things he did, records he set, running the ball, passing the ball, and all those things.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure all college coaches would have loved to have that problem.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Both of those guys on the same team. But what separated them, if not competition on the field, what separates them is, well, this guy stole, so he's out of the school. So I guess the job is yours after all.
Anyway, so I'm done ranting. We can get to the Super Bowl. Got my Urlacher jersey on.
Cameron's not a Hall of Famer, first of all. Get out of here.
No way.
No. He might not even get into the freaking Carolina Panthers Ring of Honor. he may just, because he did get an MVP with them. So that might be helpful. But Steve Smith gets in before anybody gets in on that.
Let me just ask this. Would you rather have Jake Delhomme or Cam Newton?
Whoa, you know what? Shoot, after what happened in that Super Bowl when he disappeared from the ball, Jake Delhomme sounds pretty yummy right now. But
they didn't lose because of Jake in that Super Bowl.
Exactly, but that defense was something special. Jake Delhomme, damn, I never even thought about that. Whoever would have thought about making a comparison like that, you just bring up Jake Delhomme and forget how good of a season, at least that year, that he had.
Well, you mentioned Carolina Panthers. So
yeah, the Carolina Panthers. I mean, just even when I'm mentioning the Carolina Panthers, I'm not even thinking Jake Delhomme. But then now when you put him out there, Jake Delhomme was legit. I mean, for at least that season. But anyways, Cam Newton as a talent, yeah, he never was accurate. Absolutely terrible with accuracy all the time. But he was able to run and was like a fullback, bigger than most of them, just as big as linebackers. They didn't want to see him. Linebackers hardly wanted to see him, let alone the defensive backs. But anyway,
the thing about Cam is, when you hear him speak, you don't think, man, that's a dumb motherfucker. But The
Correct.
things he says makes you question what the hell is he talking about?
Makes him question my own sanity. Forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah. Well, hell, now we got to move on to now the Super Bowl. This is the final show we're going to have before the Super Bowl comes on Sunday. Super Bowl 59. History can be made. The Philadelphia Eagles could get their second Super Bowl, and Kansas City going for the first time in the Super Bowl era, 3 straight Super Bowls. Impressive all around. And I know I saw an article that talked about they're the final boss. You know what? They are the final boss the way they've been playing.
So I was thinking about this. Which team has more pressure to win this game?
Kansas City.
I think it might possibly be the Eagles. If you're KC and you lose, you think, all right, well, we didn't win 3 in a row, but we're going to be back next year because they always go back, or at least they have been going back.
Yep.
If you're the Eagles, like, damn, we had Saquon and he ran for 2,000 yards and we still couldn't get it done. Like, what is it going to take?
So KC take the over. You know what? 2 huge defensive teams. I don't know about the over. I haven't seen the over, but not likely to take the over, especially in a Super Bowl. You know, Super Bowls don't normally give you those huge numbers.
Depends what the over is. What is the over?
Matter of fact, let me check. I know the overall line from what I checked recently was now down to 1. It started off at 1.5. A little bit of that Philadelphia money came in, and now it's at 1. But for me, I look at when it becomes 1. If it's at 1.5, when did it get down to 1? Because if it got down to 1 on Friday, we're not at Friday yet. If it got down to 1 on Wednesday or even today, those are the squares getting their money in because this is the big bet for them. Real people, the people who are the sharps, they already know what's up. They do what they do on Sunday. They kind of set the line and look at the line and kind of know what they're doing, and they just let the squares go out there and just move it around, give it a false impression. But let me see exactly.
The quote unquote smart money.
Smart money. Man, them sharps know what the hell they're talking about for a reason. And let me see what these number is for them. The over under actually is 48.5, which is solid for an NFL game, period. But Jalen Hurts, if he goes back and do what he had done in the previous Super Bowl he played in and could have still gotten the MVP even in a losing effort, that would be a huge surprise, first of all, because he's regressed since then. I've already said that several times. But with Saquon coming in as the running back, that's the difference maker, period. The reason why they're even here. Saquon Barkley, if those two are clicking like that, damn, KC, forget about the 3 in a row.
Definitely. And plus, their wideouts are not slouches either.
No.
And, when you're paying so much attention to Saquon, maybe not so much to the wideouts, they tend to get open, and if guys are open, it makes for easier throws.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's gonna be something. You know why? Because both teams are defensive teams. In fact, Philadelphia is the better defense statistically, and so you can say statistically, but they are pretty good defensively. On the other hand, we talked about it all season long. We've been waiting for Patrick Mahomes to be the Patrick Mahomes we've known for all of these years since he's been in the league, just always extraordinary. Not necessarily extraordinary this year, but the defense is what's kept them around. For them to only lose 2 games this season, 15-2, and that one BS game, 38-0 against Denver, a game where they had the 3rd string playing, probably even practice squad.
They had water boys and managers playing that game.
And maybe a cheerleader or 2. So yeah, that's the reason why they lost that game. But I think that the defense, I don't think that's what it was. The defense was able to carry them when they were having their lulls or when Patrick Mahomes was not even getting 250 yards passing or just throwing for 1 touchdown or throwing more interceptions than touchdown, which isn't the norm for him. But they ended the season pretty much the better team in the NFL. Philadelphia had that slow start. Well, they started well, then had that lull, and I thought they were pretty much out of it. Jumped on the bandwagon. They jumped on their own bandwagon, pushed it all the way to now. The defense is still damn good. Saquon Barkley still the difference. He's run against other defenses, but what does Kansas City defense do with him with 2 weeks to prepare? But everybody's banged the hell up right now.
Not only that, I saw a report that Jalen Carter was ill and not at practice or didn't participate. So I don't know what kind of illness he has. Will he be over it by Sunday? Will there be a lingering effect? Sometimes, depending on what it is, it takes a couple of days for you to get back to your normal 100% self.
Well, and especially at this time of year when no one's really 100%
Well,
at the beginning.
that could be for you and me. We don't get the IVs in the bed.
Exactly. We don't get the
So,
IVs. We don't get the professional treatment. And I think it goes back. We talked a couple of weeks ago, or even not even a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about how Chris Paul had gotten COVID, and then people were wondering why he's not playing the same like when he was able to come back and play. COVID doesn't. Now we know, looking back, COVID doesn't go away after just because you get treatment. 3 months from now, or even more, you're still feeling certain ailments. You're probably a bit fatigued. You probably got this and that going on. So he comes back and doesn't play the way he would normally play, and people are just criticizing him and excoriating him about being an overrated player, this and that. Forgetting completely that COVID is that damaging, especially even for top flight athletes who have to be on the top of their game every time they go out.
Right. So we'll see what happens with Jalen Carter. I mean, if he's not 100%, could make it easier on the Chiefs offensively. And I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago or last week. The Chiefs' lack of explosive plays may work in their favor in the Super Bowl. They seem to have like 7-play drives, 10-play drives. And if they're able to do that, that keeps Saquon on the sideline.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Saquon busts so many long yards. Long runs. Philly's more explosive than KC, or at least they have been because of his long runs. So we'll see if they're able to matriculate down the field and keep Philly on the sideline. Philly's offense.
Yeah, but Kansas City, you're expecting Mahomes to step up when it matters most again. Well, the past game they had, he stepped up better than he had done all season long. He was at least consistent. There still wasn't anything special about what he had done other than, well, they're now in their 3rd straight Super Bowl. He didn't do anything Patrick Mahomes-esque. I think people have gotten spoiled about what Patrick has done all throughout his career, his short career. He's always put up the 300-yard game, the 250-yard game, and the 3 touchdowns, the 4 touchdowns. It wasn't too much like that this year, regardless of which team they've played. And I think those teams go into these games looking to really be that team to slow them down anyway. I think when you're going for your 3rd, I think you probably don't get up for it because it's been there, done that. But the teams that want to throw a monkey wrench and you going either undefeated or even you getting to that point to even defend for a 3rd time, or second, 3rd time is the reason. But offensively, what do they have? Travis Kelce this past season, throughout the regular season, 2 touchdowns he had all year? And then in the playoffs, he started getting more touchdowns. And because he shows up in the
playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. He shows up in the playoffs and became a man. And in fact, the numbers that you look at the numbers and the way Patrick Mahomes has been going to him, he's gotten the majority of the yards. If Patrick Mahomes threw for 200 yards, freaking Kelce got 116, 120 of them. So it's like no one else is there. And as far as running backs go, I think that, or thought that would be something effective. Kareem Hunt is their leading rusher, and he's only averaging just under 4 yards a carry. Isaiah Pacheco, coming from that injury, has not looked the same as he's looked throughout his career. And I don't know where they're going to get answers on the ground. So is it just going to be Travis Kelce again? Is Mahomes getting to Kelce? And those things we talked about where everyone knows going to Kelce, but then still he's making fair catches in the middle of the field because no one's covering him. And then it's Worthy. This is a chance for him. Get him on some jet sweeps, do some deception, get him out there in the open.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he's not what he used to be, but Hopkins, he's on the back end of a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the first time he's been to the big dance.
Yep.
And he may be able to step it up. You never know. He might have one more great game in him, especially if they're concentrating on Worthy and Kelce. And if you're a Chiefs fan, it's good to see Juju Schuster-Smith make an appearance against the Bills.
Yeah.
So, that gives Philly something to think about defensively. Like, okay, if we're going to try and take away this guy and that guy, we still have to worry about Schuster making plays or Hopkins making plays. And you don't want to get beat deep by Worthy. So,
nah, you don't want to get beat. No one's really gotten beat
by anybody
this
I'm
season.
Just saying.
Yeah, him in particular, he gets open. It looks like that's going to the house if you don't have anything to stop him. But talking about Saquon Barkley, then of course Jalen Hurts not being just regressing from what I've been saying from the time he was in the Super Bowl, could have gotten an MVP, regressing since. Now has the leg injuries, 17 games now is the second season of having 17 games. But A.J. Brown quietly averaging over 16 yards of reception. That's a big play wide receiver. But does he get the ball with any consistency, knowing that Jalen Hurts is not a consistent quarterback, at least not this year?
Well, I think it's due to the fact they run the ball so well. You know, why throw it if you don't have to?
And that's true. Why? But hell, they're throwing it to him enough. Over, he had 7 touchdowns on the season, and like I already mentioned, 16 yards per reception, and over 1,000 yards receiving. I mean, in a 17-game season, it's like everybody's getting 1,000 yards receiving, just like everybody's getting 1,000 yards rushing. It seems. But yeah, I think that everything's going to come down to what Saquon Barkley can or cannot do. I think that's pretty much it. And how do we get here? I mean,
I mean, conventional wisdom tells you if the Chiefs shut Saquon down, it's game over.
Yep.
If they hold, let's say they hold him to 19 carries for 55 yards, that would be freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, what does Jalen Hurts do in response?
That's what I'm wondering. Now they're talking about the knee injury. Now I'm wondering if there's really a knee injury. They talked about it last time.
The way he was running 2 weeks ago, there ain't nothing wrong with his
knee. Exactly. They showed the knee injury before the game, and then just before the kickoff, they don't show a knee the knee brace, at least the knee brace before the game, and then they don't have a knee brace when the game starts. And he still doesn't do anything completely effective, but he did have a pretty damn efficient game. And when Saquon is playing the way he's playing and the way he started off the game with a 60-yard touchdown, and then the next carry is a 4-yard touchdown, 2 touchdowns, it kind of sets the table for you to kind of relax and not have to worry about playing from behind. And you can just play within whatever scope they have you in and dink and dunk and every now and then catch that big play, throw that big play to the tight end like he was doing.
So getting back to that over-under, 48, that's a tough one, man. Like, you either really got to believe they're going to score because you need 27-24 or 25-24 or you really think they're not going to be able to score and it's going to be under, maybe 2017.
I think the under looks like it may be the play, because these are 2 defensive teams. And as you said, if Kansas City just has these long drives and even ending it with a field goal, it's still keeping Saquon off the field. And when he is on the field, he can make that big play. But this is a Kansas City defense that's carried the team this year. So they do have a defensive identity, even though Patrick Mahomes is the face of the team. They still can slow things down. And it's not like you need to shut down Saquon Barkley. Even if you give him 100 yards, if he's getting 3 yards a carry, I think you did a pretty damn good job of just keeping him tamed for the game and let everybody else just play. And I think if he's running the way he's running, because if he's getting stopped or averaging 3 yards a carry or even 4 yards a carry, that means that they're taking time getting down the field. And with Jalen Hurts not being too effective throwing the ball, are you expecting the wide receiver to really be the reason why, or even A.J. Brown being the reason why they're going to make that big play? I mean, is it going to come from him? Is it going to be the tight end? I mean, I just think the under looks like the play because the two just
they made them against the Commanders when they had to make them.
Yeah, but we also know the Commanders. I mean, I wanted them to win. I thought they had a chance, and it's based on what Jalen Daniels was doing. Jaden Daniels, I thought, would be the reason why they did anything. It wasn't because I thought that defense showed up. No, Jaden Daniels, I was still believing he's going to get them out of this. He's going to get them out of this until I realized he couldn't get them out of it because they just kept handing the ball away. Couldn't keep the ball. So
I don't know. I just don't. I'm not as down on Hurts as you are. You say he's regressed, and maybe for a couple of years since the Super Bowl, he hasn't played to that level. But I still hear him make good throws. I'm not.
Well, he's made good throws.
I'm not going to say he can't. He's not capable of using his arm to lead them down the field.
No, you know what? On those plays,
if he throws 40 times, that's a different story.
They're done.
But I still think he can make plays.
Those times when he threw the ball to tight ends that was like wide open, And even he made some good plays because he did drop that ball into what was it, AJ Brown that he dropped that dime to a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he can't make that kind of throw, but that's still, I can look at it, that's still Washington. I don't look at that as being the Kansas City's defense, which did carry them this year. I'm thinking that it's going to be a slow down game because I don't know if Patrick Mahomes, because this is his third Super Bowl, now he's going to really show up. He's tried showing up a few times this year and hadn't done it with any consistency. The same pieces in place, the same Travis Kelce, a myriad of running backs. They tried to put it in and tried to be effective with them. It just didn't work. They tried getting guys open, trying to take advantage of Worthy, trying to get the ball in his hands any which way they could on the jet sweeps, just anyway, bubble screens, and those weren't explosive plays. And every explosive play is it seems like every explosive play Philly has is Saquon Barkley. You slow him down, where the explosive play is going to come from.
Okay, but nobody's been able to slow him down. That's the thing.
No.
Like, every game, like, oh, he busts another one. And then I can't remember the wild card game or their first playoff game, maybe not the wild card. He had 2 long runs. Mm-hmm. And then first run of the game against the Commanders, breaks the tackle line. There he goes. And they ran 2 plays and they were up 14-0.
Well, during the course of the regular season,
I don't know if the Chiefs are going to be able to stop him.
Well, you know what? They don't have to stop him. Just slow him down from getting 150, 200 yards. See, during the regular season, you play the teams you play, and in this case, the NFC East wasn't that great, and it turned out to be better than I expected because you had Washington and Philly doing it, but the Giants were still the Giants, and the Dallas Cowboys were just the Dallas Cowboys, not doing well at all. So you had those 2 teams that ended up playing each other more than once. They played 3 times this year. And going outside of the division, they never, when you get to the playoffs, you're only playing the best teams that are available and the best teams that are left. It just happens to be the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs now with 2 weeks to prepare. That's always going to be a factor, both sides. There's 2 weeks to prepare. Now, how do you really prepare for Saquon Barkley? I mean, I think they have the personnel to do it in Kansas City. I just wonder how consistent they can be because all it takes is one big run. You can slow him down like Barry Sanders, 22 carries for 50 yards. And then that 75-yarder makes it look like you didn't do anything all day long. That's it.
It's going to be interesting, man. There's going to be battles of Andy Reid against the Phillies defensive coordinator and as well as Phillies offensive coordinator against Spagnuolo. I'm sure Spagnuolo's going to try and come up with a couple of looks that might try to confuse Hurts. We'll see. I mean, Hurts has been in the league quite a while now. Not sure what he can actually throw at him that's going to confuse him. But, they surprised Josh Allen with that corner blitz. So he might have something up his sleeve.
And, man, I'm not even going to get on it with Jalen Hurts saying that I don't think he can even identify that kind of thing if it started to happen, even if he saw it on film. Let it play out the way it's going to play out. Going back to the season and looking at the numbers, we're still talking about a 17-game season, the second year or season of a 17-game season. And looking at the numbers, you would think someone like Patrick Mahomes, this is the time where he's really going to start crushing records and getting closer to being the all-time leader and everything by the time it's said and done because of the extra game. And they're talking about an 18th game, but that's like down the line. But he hadn't even thrown for 4,000 yards this year. He was able to do that in 16 games before. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards this season, and Jalen Hurts didn't go for over 3,000 yards this season. That says a whole lot of something. That these aren't offensive games.
His running back went for 2,000 yards. So how many yards were available for him?
But you
mentioned possibly going to the 18th game. Now. My coworker told me this, but my coworker also told me the Bears were hiring former Bears center Olin Kreutz as their offensive lineman. And I got hyped because Olin Kreutz, he don't play. He's on the radio all the time. Yeah. He's calling people out. I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's gonna have to maybe pull Ben Johnson aside, be like, Coach, I don't like what I'm seeing here, because he doesn't want to step on the head coach's toes.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started looking for it on Twitter. I checked Google News, nothing. I was like, are you sure? He's like, No, I saw it on Twitter. I said, from who? Was it Schefter? Or who'd you see it from? I don't know. It was just some random guy. I was like, what?
The random guy. So crazy fan
But
that
man,
was
I
hoping
said,
and wishing.
you got me so excited, dude. I was pissed the rest of the day. I was more excited for Olin Cruz getting hired as the O-line coach than I was for Ben Johnson being the head coach.
Yeah, well, but
But
Olin Cruz, man, he was a beast. Hell, he was a beast.
yeah,
But he played at Washington, right? University of Washington.
I believe so. Yeah.
So yeah,
But
man, that dude.
so he told me yesterday the NFL's looking to play games in Australia. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
they
know if
are.
that's true. They
It is
are
true.
okay.
That did come up. So
All right.
it is happening.
Um, I don't know, man. I don't agree with this. I don't even agree with them going to Europe. I mean, keep it in the same continent, Canada, Mexico. I get it, but having them go across the ocean and then for Australia, the other side of the world, that's not fair to those
And they
teams that
better have a
play.
freaking bye week, man. A serious bye week after
Exactly.
that. They gotta have a
Yeah.
bye week after that, man.
Like if it's me, I'm gonna schedule them week 1. That way they play week 1, then they get the bye week 2. Not like it's in the middle of the season where they're recovering from week 3, then they gotta fly out there.
But the
You
problem
know,
with that is that if they get a bye week in week 2, that means their meat grind of a season is going to kill their asses by the end of the season. Dudes is not even
maybe.
going to
I'm
make it.
just saying that at least week 1, your guys aren't already banged up and you don't have to fly to the, you can, to me, logistically, it makes more sense.
Well, it's all about the bag anyway. They're still talking about that 18th game. And I know that the players' union is like, nah, we haven't even broached the topic because Roger Goodell, he's just trying to talk about it out there so people could be expecting it, even though it hadn't been talked about with the Players Association. And, I can't remember who the president of the association is, the Football Players Association. But he was like, nah, don't listen to what Roger's saying. He says until he talks to us, it's nothing but commentary, he's saying. And he's talking about, there has to be more money involved. Of course, right now, I think it's a 48.5 split for the players. For the players getting 48.5% of the revenue right now. And if I think they want 50-50. If they're doing 18 games, he says he wants 50-50. I don't think he wants 50-50 right now because you're just throwing that number out there. Come on, you're supposed to throw a number out there because that's when you're going to start negotiating. But come on, man, 50-50, the owners are not going to try to fall for that. But 18 games and talking that CTE nonsense. And now they talk about 2 bye weeks, by the way, if they go 18 games.
All I know is that they're creeping further and further into the following year. If they eventually make it to March Madness, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, man. They can't go to March Madness, man. They either better start the season earlier or get rid of those preseason games and start the season in August and still end it in
don't
February.
fuck with March Madness.
They can't, yeah, exactly. You know what? I can't even say they wouldn't do that anymore because I didn't think they would try to intrude on the NBA, and they just did that this past season and went on the NBA, just beat the hell out of them in terms of viewership. I don't know. Yeah, man.
What's crazy? We talk more about the trades and front office stuff than we do actual games.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, let me see. If you want me to come in during the NBA trade talk,
finals, NBA finals.
Oh, NBA final during.
Oh wait. My bad.
I'm about to say whose eyes are going first.
I don't know what I was thinking. I was looking at it in my head saying finals.
I'm like, what the hell are you talking about the finals for now, man? We haven't even got past the freaking All-Star game that we're not watching.
Bring them in. We talk Super Bowl. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Chiefs for the 3-peat. Because I said this before. Fuck Philly fans. Most of them are assholes.
Well, they are, but I can respect Philly fans, man.
Team KC. Oh,
I'm going with KC. I already put my cards out there on Monday and even before that because there wasn't too. If I'm all down on Jalen Hurts and knowing that he hasn't been playing very well, and even though it is the Saquon Barkley show, man, come on, Kansas City always finds a way to win. They did it this season. Now, if you went with AFC versus NFC, who was better this year? I don't know. Just looking at, I would say the AFC, but then you had a lot of things going on in the NFC, man. The NFC North period was just as good as anything in the AFC.
until the playoffs.
Until the playoffs, yeah. But they had to end up going outside and playing like Kansas. What was it? Minnesota, Green Bay. Well, shoot, and Detroit bounced in the first round, so that didn't help anything. Well, the second round with them, their first game. It was their first game.
Minnesota and Green Bay went out wild card round.
Man, yeah, but I'm just saying it looks like there was a lot more competitive, in my opinion, in the NFC this year than it looked like in the AFC. I mean, you have the usual cast, Kansas City, you have Buffalo.
When you consider Buffalo and the Ravens and
the AFC East is trash, the Jets, the freaking Patriots, and then Miami Dolphins. Even if they would have gotten into the playoffs, they'd have gotten bounced. So yeah, the AFC East wasn't that great. Then the AFC South with the Jaguars, come on, the Indianapolis Colts and the Texans winning there. The Texans played well when they got to the playoffs. They just got beat too. I mean, they won.
All right, so we're both Chiefs. Who's going to be MVP?
If the Chiefs are going to win, there's only one MVP. I mean, and that's Xavier Worthy. No,
Taylor Swift.
You know what, Taylor Swift. Kelsey could be the MVP. I mean, why not? He's good because if Patrick Mahomes just throws for 150 yards and 100 of them still go to Kelsey, he got 2 touchdowns.
Bunker kicks 4 field goals.
You know what? That's true too.
A 51-yarder to win it at the
and that takes care of that under. That takes care of the under too. So while we had that conversation, I don't think we've had a kicker win the MVP before, right? Even with Adam Vinatieri kicking those game winners in the past.
Man, that's a lot of Super Bowls. I don't think so, but I don't remember any.
So
you going Mahomes?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kelsey. Kelsey, man. Mahomes seems too easy. If Mahomes doesn't have a big game, he can still get the ball to Kelsey, and Kelsey can nickel and dime himself down the field.
So in preseason, I picked the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. But if you recall, I said, I can't pick the Chiefs because they already won 2 in a row. So I got to pick somebody else. But I really wanted to pick the Chiefs. So I got to go Mahomes. I think, there's all that referees give them calls talk and, Saquon Barkley this, Saquon Barkley that. He's going to have to remind people, hey, I'm him.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true, man. But you know what? We already know if Philadelphia is winning, we already know it's going to be Saquon Barkley. I can't imagine anyone else being the MVP. Saquon Barkley is going to be the reason why they win at all. Without him, they just don't win. I just don't think so. Unless Jalen Hurts is able to go back to what he had done his last time in the Super Bowl. It doesn't look like that guy lives here anymore. He's moved.
Somebody on defense, a couple of strip sacks or a couple of interceptions, which I don't know if Mahomes is going to give the ball away, but if it happens,
he's giving the ball away pretty damn often this past season for the first time in his career. I hope we don't have another Larry Brown incident where the defensive back, who was just a regular guy, ends up getting the MVP. Like back then when Neil O'Donnell just kept throwing the ball to him when Pittsburgh played the Steelers, just throwing it to this dude in the numbers. He didn't have to make a play. He just had to play catch with Neil and got the ball.
So I got the Chiefs, Mahomes MVP, and something's telling me go over 31-27.
Whew. Man, I can see this being every bit of 24-7.
It doesn't seem like it's making sense, right? But stranger things have happened. So I'm calling 31-27.
I can see this 24-17 all the way. Take the under on that one. Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, taking Kelsey.
Jalen Hurts.
This guy. He's just being a contrarian right now. That's it. He's just being a contrarian. That's all. But Jalen Hurts.
Bring him in for this basketball talk.
Cowboys next year. I heard that last year, though. Cowboys next year. I heard that last year since the 90s. Yo, Scott, come in for this basketball talk. Come get some of this basketball smoke. I'm gonna put the link back out there just in case you didn't catch it the first time. Anybody else who want to come in here and talk a little basketball, bring it in here. So it's out there. So the link is there. Go get it and see. Yeah, but the NBA, you see these, and by the Marcus Smart gone from the Memphis Grizzlies, traded. I mean, I thought it was a big deal, but I thought he was a glue guy with defense.
That's what happens when you don't want to be a babysitter for John Moran.
John just can't stay healthy. No, he's been injured quite a bit this year. Let's get this guy in here. Hold on.
What's up, Scott? Twice in 1 week.
I know.
Welcome.
Thinking of going
Clown
pro.
show. Going pro.
Feeling hurt.
And golf or what?
Well, both
There we
you
go.
guys chose. Wait, let me close this other one. Both you guys chose
Kansas
City. So I wanted to go with Philadelphia. And I mean, Bias, you're right.
And that's why you get the F on your head?
Hmm?
That's why you get the F on your head for Philadelphia.
That's laptop gate, baby.
That's for Philly.
Cam
Hey,
Newton.
that's Philly, man.
That's for Philly.
Get the hell out of here.
Bro, I saw him play when Tebow was there, and he was such a physical presence. I was so excited. We get this guy after
Yeah.
Tebow,
Mhm.
and then I think I don't know if he stole it or trashed somebody's laptop, and I was like, and then
They said
he was.
so, man. Remember, I was still in the media at the time when that was going on.
And he says, and this may be right, that he actually left. I don't think they kicked him off the team. They may have suspended him.
Yes,
But,
I think it was a suspension. He ended up going to junior college and then went to Auburn.
Yeah, I give him credit. I mean, he did take a long road and he made a comeback. But yeah, I was really disappointed. Obviously, we've never been able to get back to the Tebow heights since him. But
That
I
team
thought,
was sick, man.
yeah,
Yeah, Ryan Stamper, didn't you? Ryan Stamper was on that team. He has some beast
that
on
was the
that
guy
team.
from Jacksonville, right?
Ryan Stamper? No.
Okay. I didn't think there were a couple of linebackers we had that other people thought were good that I didn't think were all that great, but we just talent around. We had well, who was it? Hernandez, and we had
Aaron Hernandez and freaking Percy Harvin. Percy was freaking sick, man.
Yeah, that dude was bad.
Oh, he was a badass, bro. He was just a head case, bro.
I went
He was
to
expelled in high
that
school.
game. That
Which
game
game?
where he caught the ball, I think it was against Tennessee, where he caught the ball, and it was like in one motion, he kind of knocked it up with his left hand and caught it with his right hand as he's just streaking down the field. And somebody after the game, they asked me, they go, "How did he do that?" And I said, "Magic, just magic."
Yeah, he was a track athlete, basketball. He was a Virginia guy. Hell of a player, but he was just expelled from school from being, well, Percy Harvin was known as being one of those guys. But anyway, who did he hit? Chris Haney? Was that kid that you had down there?
Oh, Rainey?
Chris Rainey, who went to Lakeland, won those championship 3 straight. Everyone liked Chris Rainey. He hit Chris Rainey, and everybody didn't like him all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But anyway, get the basketball, man. Get out of here. Not even know.
Eagles.
CJ.
Their fans, like you were saying, Bias, their fans aren't very good. But after seeing the movie Silver Lining Playbook, I really just that sense of community they had there. I don't know. I'm okay with them, and I like Jalen Hurts' comeback story. Kansas City's been there, done that. Maybe it's. I'd like to see the underdog pull this one off, and if they do, like you guys were saying, Saquon Barkley is the who you would think about. But in order to win, they'll probably need Hurts to have an MVP type performance, which I know it sounded like you guys doubt. I think he's got some capability.
Trav's the one who's really down on him.
I
I'm
already know how to
saying
get
it's
down with him.
possible he can make plays.
I liked him in the beginning because I wanted to see him excel anyway when he went to Oklahoma from Alabama, because when he was at Alabama, I wanted Tua to take his job.
He was like
When
a
he went to
different
Oklahoma, I was
player.
cool with him.
He was a different player at Oklahoma. You're like, wow, if he could have done this at
Exactly. But
Alabama.
he had a different offense, passing it around and everything. That's why I thought, okay, he finally took that next step, went to the NFL, and it looked like he continued, played hell of a fight in the Super Bowl, but hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, well, and he's
He's
got
been known
great
for the tush
receivers.
push.
Yeah, he's got great receivers. Now the tush push, I think he kind of gets a bad reputation because that his legs are strong as hell.
Yeah, he squats like 700 pounds.
Wait,
Yeah.
he said tush push. Or did he say push tush?
The tush push.
I'm the one, I don't know, because I
I
used
don't
to
know, but it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not all the push, man. That guy's got strong legs too.
He
Like,
squats
I
about
look-
700 pounds.
Yeah, you look at him versus like Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts was my fantasy ace this year, but guy's got legs like a skinny bird, man. So I think, I'd like to see Hurts do well. We'll see. All right. So obviously the biggest trade in the NBA was Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors
Yeah.
and Andrew Wiggins going to
The most recent, the biggest
right.
one was the Luka trade.
Oh, right. The Luka one. Well, yeah, maybe we want to talk about that one first.
Go for it. You're our guest.
Oh, well, I was going to let the Luka master here lead the discussion, Travis.
Not anymore. How I left that ship. I jumped off that like I jumped off of John Morant, man. Let them go flow. Let those guys go. I mean, Luka, I'm thinking, hell, Bias and I did speak about that on Monday. I'm thinking that it might have had something to do with Mark Cuban no longer being the majority shareholder or the majority owner of the team. He brought in Luka.
Right. You guys were right. He didn't have any hand in that.
No, he didn't. And if he did, Luka probably wouldn't have gone. He thought Luka was going to be that. He thought he was going to be his next Dirk Nowitzki. And then he wanted to have that Euro thing because he thinks they have that fundamentally sound game and they're not selfish. So that's why he also brought in Porzingis. And now we see Porzingis is in Boston, and now Luka's out in California. And Mark Cuban's not the owner anymore, at least not the majority holder.
Right. Yeah. I knew he didn't have a majority of it anymore. I thought maybe, he with some other partners maybe had like a coalition majority. But after Luka was traded, he said, I can't tell you about that because I didn't have any part in it. So,
exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't part of that.
So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, everybody's had their opinion on the trade. It's a huge trade, but he doesn't bring any defense. I think you told me that as well. He didn't bring.
Well, that's good. See, that I like. If he's making the Lakers' defense worse, I support it even more. Yeah, I support it even more. But
do you think? How do you think he responds? Does this motivate him to get in better shape, better condition?
That's their hope.
Right, I know that's the hope, but because there's two ways he can go. He can go that way, or maybe he can be disappointed and mopey and whiny and go the other direction.
And spend all his time becoming a Hollywood movie star and da-da-da.
A fat one? Playing Jabba the Hutt?
His mother's this big Swedish model and stuff. So it's like, maybe he goes all LA.
Oh, he starts dating a Kardashian.
Oh my God.
He's screwed.
It's over, man. That's
when it's over. When James Harden started going out with Khloe Kardashian, I was like, that guy's officially not cool anymore.
Unbelievable.
So I'm on record as saying he's going to give it to the Mavs every time he plays them. I'm saying 40 or more every game, maybe a couple 55s or 60s.
So Luka could give 30 a night. Well, they got a big man now in LA as well with Mark Williams.
I think that's a good trade, but getting everybody to fit together.
Yep.
I mean, you look at Phoenix. Yeah, they got KD, Beal, and Booker, but they still suck. So the rest of the team has to be involved too.
Yeah, they traded away Dalton Connect, man. I was a little surprised with that. I thought he was making some waves with that team, and they're still keeping Bronny because no one else wants him. That's probably why. Come on now, the guy shouldn't even be there.
While we're talking basketball, I was watching Victor Wembanyama last night, and
he's a unicorn.
How good can that guy be?
There's no freaking limit.
If he stays healthy, yeah.
Better than Jordan.
He does so many damn things in this new age of basketball. Dude's blocking 3-point shots, and he's still in the arc. Come on.
Better than Wilt.
He gonna have to get some serious rebounding to get up there with Wilt, and he can still score. We know that he's doing that at 19 and 20 years old.
I could see him. I mean, what's stopping him from having a 100-point game?
Resting him that night. Dude, you get too close. Let's sit down.
Hey, I don't think Wilt Chamberlain got that much rest either, at least according to him.
No, but
he had to bed at least like 10, 15 women a night. I mean, come on.
Yes, so he says, right? That's what they were saying. Yeah, he said that, but they don't know what's true.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, Victor Wemby's fun to watch.
He is, man.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch him develop. Well, he's still only like 20, right?
Yeah, he just turned 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid's amazing, man. For him to be this good this quickly, I'm not sure how many people expected it.
No, hell no, man. I was like, he'd be all right, but nah, I think I'm not worried about it in his
Yeah.
first year. So he's gonna take
Most
some time.
experts were saying he has to fill out, put on 15
Like
pounds of
Porzingis.
muscle, and Wemby's like, I don't need nothing. I can play now.
I just like playing. That's it.
Like the kid from Oklahoma. What is it, Holmgren?
Yeah, I said,
Chet.
I've been on a Chet Holmgren bandwagon since high school. I've been on top of that dude, man. And he's back now. He's been injured.
And Oklahoma has been doing great without him.
Yeah, they have. That's what I'm saying. Remember the year that he was out the first year? They were talking about bringing him back during the playoffs, but they kept him out. And I think that was the good decision and the right decision to do, to make. And with Chet Holmgren, he put on some weight. And he did put up like 15 pounds in the offseason. He just still isn't where he needs to be. Skill-wise, he's there. But being a bigger guy and being more of a presence physically, it's going to take some time. Wemby doesn't have to get that big. His height just takes care of everything else.
I think Wemby and Holmgren need to go to a cheeseburger buffet and just hang out for like a few weeks and then work out, during the rest of the time.
Okay. Have that high cholesterol.
They need to work out with the king.
Yeah.
But
so
your trade talk thoughts.
Well, the Warriors get Jimmy Butler and the Heat get Andrew Wiggins, who I think, I'm guessing, you're not very excited about that, Bias.
No, because it doesn't solve the Warriors' problem.
Right.
Big man.
Right. So Kevon Looney's not the answer. Kuminga's not the answer. And obviously
Kuminga can develop into a heck of a player, but that small ball lineup doesn't work anymore.
Right.
That's their biggest issue. They're playing small ball.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get Bol forever, man, and I thought that would have been a great opportunity for what the hell this man
or Taco Fall. Bring back Taco Fall. 7-7.
Even when they had
Taco Fall, he's in China.
McGee, not a great player, but he's a big guy. He get rebounds. You can throw him alley oops, and they've been missing that since.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So the Warriors get Butler. The way I look at that is Golden State knows they're not going all the way this year. They're thinking tickets. Bring Jimmy Butler out here. He's box office. People will be interested to see him. I mean, Wiggins is a good player. He's obviously younger, so he's got a longer shelf life. And maybe that's what they're thinking is, look, Wiggins isn't going to be the answer to our problem. We need to get a big man. So just maybe keep our powder dry. And
so what do you think about Dunleavy as a GM or VP, whatever the hell he is over there?
I think Bias makes a good argument. I think, they've really been lacking in the big man. He obviously Butler doesn't do anything to fix that. So
nope.
I mean, it started with the Chris Paul trade.
Yeah, right.
Why would you trade for Chris Paul? You don't need a point guard.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, and Paul's kind of like he's in the player coach stage of his career at this point.
That's why he's down there in San Antonio now.
And San Antonio obviously got better because they added the guy from Fox, De'Aaron Fox. He's on my fantasy team. I just know that guy's name. Kill.
Yeah, we watched him play in person last year when they played Orlando. We went down to Orlando to watch him. That's one of the biggest reasons why I went down there to see what this dude had to bring. He bought it.
He went to a destination that he wanted to go to.
He said he wanted to go. Yep.
He's going to be happy. Jimmy Butler, I'm not sure if he really wanted to go to Golden State, but at least
he was wanted about so much. They just wanted him out the building.
I want to say this about Butler. I think that he said for a long time he wanted to leave, and they were dragging their feet on it, and that's why he eventually went public. So I've got a little bit of sympathy, but I've just really loved his game, even though he's obviously
he was a dog, man. He's just an old dog now. He gets injured a lot now. Doesn't like to play. I don't know if he likes to play or not, but he doesn't play the way he did in the bubble. He left it all in the bubble, man.
We thought James Harden was overweight in Brooklyn. Then he got traded and he lost 30 pounds in 1 month.
He stopped eating that doggone street food.
That's one card Jimmy Butler never played.
Right. I mean,
just go on a cheeseburger buffet diet for a few weeks and they'll ship you out. I thought the Raptors get Brandon Ingram, yet one other talent wasted by
That's
the Lakers.
your guy, Brandon
Yeah.
Ingram, when he was down in the
Yeah.
Lakers and down in New Orleans, and now he's moving
Big
again.
scorer. Now he's going, they're not any good. The Raptors aren't any good, but I put in a fantasy trade. I wanted to get him.
Grady
versus
Big Boys.
I've got Desmond Bain on my team, who's a good player. I just, I like to, in fantasy, I like to look for good players playing on bad
But
teams.
Desmond Bain, is he on Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said the Raptors.
No.
Ingram went
That's
to
where
the
Ingram's
Raptors.
going,
Oh, Ingram, yeah.
which
I
is
just-
a bad team.
Yeah.
He's talking about his fantasy team now.
Oh, all right. Your fantasy team. This guy.
What could be more important than my fantasy basketball team?
Mine.
By the way, he said we don't have one. By the way, on the thumbs up front, or fingers up to ESPN fantasy basketball, because I had Wiggins, and I'm watching the whole way. I'm seeing like this guy's getting traded. He's not going to play tonight. They're saying they never said that. So I said, well, maybe they know something I don't know. So I leave him in there. And of course he doesn't play. He just got traded. And I think that counts against me in ESPN fantasy. So I blame ESPN, not me.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. My other fingers up is to the NBA channel, because those greedy sons of guns, when Orlando played out on the West Coast, they
didn't play the game, right?
They blocked it
blocked
out
it.
here in Jacksonville.
That's why I don't
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did that with a couple of Knicks games as well. Because Knicks
I got
has
a story for you. Trav mentioned that hockey fans probably hate us because we never talk hockey, but here's a little story for you. In Chicago, before the original, the old man passed away, Bill Wirtz, they made the playoffs one year, and he made the playoffs pay-per-view.
Oh, wow, bro.
Like you couldn't even watch them on the regular sports channel that they were on
Blackhawks fans are
all
dedicated
year.
fans.
So, I mean, I'm in that boat
Is that
now.
where we're
with the
going? Is that where we're
Bulls
going
and
with the
White
NFL, by the way?
Seems that way. You're gonna need a streaming service, if
Yeah,
not several
Yep.
of them.
Right.
Netflix played a
Netflix.
good game. The reason why? Because Netflix got all those viewers, and now they decide to raise their fees now because they know that it's attractive and people are interested. Nice play by them. They knew exactly. what they were doing.
I've got Prime. I'm okay with that. But
I
then
got
they go to
Prime.
Netflix.
I can't deal with
And I've
Netflix,
got
man.
Netflix, but there's this old TV here that won't stream.
We got an analog television, man. We got one of those floor models with the TV that works on top of it.
It is not a smart TV. I will say that.
The
Yeah.
old TV.
Yeah.
It doesn't have antennas, does it?
The little bunny rabbit antennas, right? You didn't the owner for the Bears died today, 102 years old. Papa
Did
Bears.
she? I didn't even see
Papa,
that.
102 years old, passed away, man. McCluskey, I think. Let me see.
Virginia McCaskey?
McCluskey, yeah. 102 years old, man. That's quite a bit of time. You know what I'm saying?
102 and you own an NFL team, man. That's the way to go.
And your father's Papa Bear. Don't worry about it. You lived a great life.
Yeah. So another wasted talent by the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma. The Bucks
Kyle
get
Kuzma.
him, and the Wizards get Chris Middleton. So I think the Bucks win that trade.
Yeah, Chris Middleton's been injured
Yeah.
a lot lately.
He's been MIA last couple years.
Exactly, man. They just got rid of a corpse. So, and where
Yeah.
do you go for your corpse? To the Wizards. They're
I had
trash.
I had to get that corpse off my fantasy team.
For real, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, fingers up to Karis LeVert. That dude was on my fantasy team. He got negative points. Negative points 2 days in a row.
We're shooting at other people's hoops. Shooting at the opposition's hoop. Yo, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Oh, yeah.
But I guess, yo, bro, let's shut it down now, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you duped
the
us,
story.
man. You said bring me on to talk NBA trade, and you
I know,
told
right?
me
And this
about your
dude's like,
fantasy teams.
he's one of those clickbait punks. The hell
Well, the
outta here.
Wizards, you said this earlier, Trav. The Wizards get Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
And the Grizzlies get Bagley and a bunch of guys. Smart, obviously one of my favorite Celtics of all time. So he's going to the Wizards. So, that sucks for him. Maybe we'll find a way to get
That's
him
the
back.
graveyard for basketball.
It is.
Freaking, oh man, the Wizards are terrible.
That's the pits. Yeah, they've come a long way from the Bullet days of Wes Unseld and all
They may want
those.
to get. They may want to, or Agent Zero or Zero Rings.
That's right. That was the last time they were good.
Agent Zero
Agent
Rings.
Zero brought all his firearms into the locker room.
Damn, and Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, the Kings got Jonas Valanciunas, I think his name is. He's a good, strong, big man. But the Kings didn't need that. They've already got a good center out there. So
yeah, they reunited DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Right. So they've already that's promising. I think it's promising for them. That's a lot of offensive firepower there. So
I didn't know DeRozan's gone from Chicago.
Yeah, he's with the Kings.
Bro, I didn't know that, man.
I think since last year.
Yeah, DeRozan's amazing.
And then get this. They signed Lonzo Ball to a 2-year deal. So they must like what they see. I mean, as far as health-wise.
Straight out of wheelchair. A crazy mofo named Lonzo. Come on. Damn, man. See, I've been in the NFL for me not knowing that kind of information, man. The NFL getting all those eyeballs. You keep my
I haven't been
eyeballs
watching, but I knew DeRozan was in Sacramento.
Damn, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
DeRozan is interesting because he's a guard and he's a prolific scorer, but he's not a three-point shooter.
No, he's not.
So a lot of people don't like that. They're like, well, I want someone who's hitting the threes more often. But
how would Dr. J do in today's NBA?
Dr. J would average at least 8 to 10 dunks a game.
And probably I think he'd be a 30-point scorer, easy.
Yeah, because you're talking 16, 20 points just on dunks.
Dunks alone, right? Shoot. Man, it's all offense. So Dr. J wouldn't even have to worry about going on the defense.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about getting hand checked, knocked out.
None of that. Shoot,
knocked down when he goes to the hole.
The doc.
I don't know who's going to stop him from going to the cup.
My fans keep calling me, man. I gotta turn my phone off when I come in here.
I tell your sister I said hi.
I don't talk to her. I don't talk to her.
Why? After that day, I don't talk to her.
No kidding. Jimmy's Christmas, man. I don't blame you.
Let's get over this damn stream, man.
I didn't catch the name of who asked about Dr. J, but I can tell you this. I guarantee you this. He would not reach out to somebody who played 20 years ago asking for help how to attack the defense. Unlike Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, this guy want to roast Mike and then just ask questions. Man, get out of here. And the way Mike is, I'm surprised he didn't curse him out.
So the Thunder get Daniel Theis. I don't think they need him. Maybe they're worried about Holmgren's health coming back.
I don't know. You know what? That would be a good idea because he has been getting injured since he's been in the league.
He's been injured quite a bit in his young career. So
yeesh, I hate it too, man, because I want this guy to be a superstar, man.
He has the ability. They've got a shot at the title this year.
Yeah, but I think they're one of those teams, just like the Oklahoma City team years ago with Russ. James Harden and freaking KD had all that talent, and guess what happened? Got bounced.
They've got the kid who
and they were young.
They've got the kid who played at Arlington Country Day. Lou Dort is playing for them. Yeah, and they've also got this great guy no one's heard of named Jalen.
How long ago was this, man? Arlington Country Day been locked down for over 10, 15 years. What are you talking about?
What I think OKC is missing. What I think OKC is missing is a guy like DeMar DeRozan, somebody who's been in the league who can get a bucket when you need it in crunch time.
Is that Jalen Williams?
We'll find out.
Yeah. We'll make the playoffs definitely tasty.
Anyway, let's lock it down, man. That's it. Stay quiet. He's blind on Trav, and that's the scam artist over there, Scott. He's telling us that he's going to talk to NBA. Anyway, we talked about the NFL today, getting to the Super Bowl 59, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. A little bit of history trying to get made. 3 Super Bowls in a row for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will that be the possibility? Maybe. Will it happen? We don't know. We'll find out on Sunday. We'll be back on Monday with the results of what happened on Super Bowl Sunday 59. Until then, deuces.
3-peat.